cop.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Street Cop Training Podcast. We're your host, founder, and CEO of Street Cop Training. Big day today. In studio, which we don't get a lot in studio guests, we have Ken Hogan, who was an Irvington lieutenant, right?
Sergeant.
Ken has a story. Interesting enough, I actually saw the video you guys did. They played it for us in my old police department. With you talking and the whole thing. So it's interesting how it comes full circle later on, and I get to meet you in real life, and you're basically a New Jersey hero. You're legendary in the police world in New Jersey.
Thanks,
so
I appreciate
when your
it.
name gets brought up, people are like, "Oh fuck, I love Ken Hogan. He's a fucking man." Like everybody goes bonkers. So I guess you're doing a ton of shit with every organization, right?
Yeah, I listen. I love this cop world, and I love lecturing. I love talking, and it's an honor to be on this show.
No, stop. No.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's all about the message.
It's a good message.
Yeah, it's all about the message.
All right, Ken, give us the 2-minute skinny on your law enforcement career, and then we'll go into what we got to talk about.
All right, I started my police career. I was just turning 19. I was 18, turning 19. Got on the job very young.
You're not going to say what year, huh?
No, I'm not going to say it. But it was a long time ago. It was back in 19... So, walked the beat, got into a patrol car for a while, and street crimes. I went to work in plain clothes, and then Irvington started to change a little bit, and Irvington got pretty crazy. And
You grew up there?
I was born and raised in Irvington.
What was it
New
like
Jersey.
then?
Yeah.
Because it's fucking nuts now.
Yeah. It's the sad part about it being nuts is there's still a lot of beautiful people there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But unfortunately, they're stuck. They're locked in and they can't get away. But no, it's really weird because when I first became a cop, it was like the most beautiful town you can imagine. That's where you want. Yeah, that's where you wanted to live. It had the best Irvington Center. Was incredible. They had Canadian furs. They had 2 or 3 movie theaters. They had restaurants. They had every kind of store you could imagine, from toy stores to men's clothing stores to women's dresses to baby stores. Shoe stores like great. Remember Buster Brown? They had Buster Brown.
I remember Buster Brown. Yeah.
Tom McCann, Gruber's men's clothing store, but it was beautiful. Canadian furs. And then crack cocaine gets introduced to the East Coast, and it's just like somebody hit a switch, and it just went away.
Wow.
It just went away. Like suddenly.
Why did it all descend upon Irvington, though?
I
Next
think,
to Newark?
Yeah, I think Newark had a big, influence. A lot of the beautiful people in Newark wanted to get out. They were scared after the riots of '67, and they came to Irvington. And then the people from Irvington wanted to get out. They wanted to get to the East Hanovers or the Unions or the Caldwells, and get something a little bit bigger. And they left. And when crack got introduced, man, burglaries went crazy, drugs went crazy, murders were going nuts, purse snatches, everything you could imagine. And that's when I started to shine because I grew up as a scumbag kid. Listen, there was no such thing as rules in my household,
Yeah.
I got arrested a bunch of times as a child. I remember the first time I got arrested. I remember the cop's name, Ray Schreck, who was a old timer back then.
Oh, shit.
And I ended up working with him for years.
Did he remember you?
Oh, of course.
No
Everybody
kidding.
remembered me.
Oh,
All
wow.
the cops that I worked with remembered me. So,
How'd you get on the job with that kind of reputation?
well, thank God there was no computers in those days. I got on a job because of a certain police officer. He was my mentor. He knew my background. He knew my family background. We lived in the federal housing projects, and in order to live there, you had to be poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I came from a very poor family. I'm the youngest in my family. My brothers and sisters are a lot older than me by double digits. And, after getting arrested so many times, this one cop kind of plucked me out of the projects and said I could be somebody. And his name is Tony Graffa, and he's my hero. He's my mentor. He said I could be somebody, a cop patting me on the back saying I could be somebody. And he was right.
That's cool.
I didn't think I could. I didn't think I could be anything. I'm not educated. I don't have college. I got a high school diploma, which I'm still not sure how I got it.
Yeah, me too.
Right. And the next thing you know, I got a gun and a badge on because of this particular cop, And like I said, Irvington was beautiful. It was a beautiful town. Like I said, it still is. It's just different, but it's, And then I was in my 6th year. I was on a job 6 years, and I was down at the Jersey Shore, Manasquan. Not that anybody's ever been there, because it's probably the most beautiful place in the world. But I just remember answering the phone. I was at a house with a bunch of other cops, and I remember late at night the phone rang, and on the other end of the phone was again, a great young kid, a young rookie cop by the name of Eddie Fitzgerald. He called me up. He was only on the job a few months. And he said, "Hey, Hogan, are you awake?" It was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, "Hogan, are you awake?" I said, "Yeah, there's plenty of room. Come on down." That's what guys usually call because they want to, jump in on the summer house. And he said, "Listen, Tony was just shot and killed."
Oh, shit.
And, I didn't have a dad. I said earlier, you're not on the program, but, my father was murdered when I was 2, and I didn't have anybody. Tony was my mentor. He was my guidance. He was, he was the human being that, and the police officer that turned me into a man. And to hear Eddie Fitz tell me that Tony was shot and killed, I honestly didn't believe it. I thought I was having a nightmare. He taught me everything about childhood, teenager, and next thing you know, he's teaching me how to shake a hand, how to look somebody in the eye. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that patted me on the back and said, you can be a cop one day, and I became a cop because of him. And to hear that he died, because back in those days, there's no social media, it's one of those things where, you might hear about a New York City cop or a Philly cop getting killed, but you maybe read it in the paper somewhere if you read the paper, because I never read the paper, or you watch it on TV. We didn't really have televisions. And when Tony died, he was tactically sound, physically fit. He was a new husband and a new father. Mm. He had a beautiful baby, Nicole. And then now he's dead, and it just makes no sense to me, And from his death, I've learned a lot on my own, but with his guidance, either through God or whatever. But he turned me into a beautiful human being. He taught me about respect and kindness and love, and like I said, how to look people in the eye. Mm-hmm. More than anything, what a lot of us don't do in law enforcement is, we tend to forget how to listen. We're always in control. We're always moving forward. And we're always telling people what to do. Maybe it's okay to step back. And Tony taught me that. Mm. And
did he have a lot of respect in Irvington?
Oh, he was. Listen, not only from the citizens, but all the co-workers. I mean, some of these cops would looked at him like he was the man. He was that guy that everybody listened to. If he stepped out of roll call, in those days, we stood at attention at roll call, and they went up and down and checked your shirt and your uniforms and make sure your gun was clean. And if Tony stepped out of line to talk to somebody or to talk to the group, man, everybody stopped and listened, because he was
all the bosses too.
Everybody. Yeah. He was that kind of a guy, and I was fortunate enough to for him to be my mentor.
How old was he? Not when he was killed, but when he was a cop.
To be honest with you, I never really thought about his age. To me, it didn't matter. He could have been the oldest or the youngest.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to say he was probably in his mid-30s at the time.
Okay.
I was, like I said, I was 18, 19, and I looked at him, like on a pedestal. I mean, but he knew my background. He knew where I was. And
did he have the same background? Is that why?
I don't think so. I just remember the one time when there's several times, but he pulled up in his personal vehicle. It was a Cadillac Eldorado Baritz, which back in those days was like the most beautiful car in the world. I'm thinking, this guy's got it all. He was the best dressed I've ever seen. Yeah. And he came from a great background from what I understand. He was a carpenter, builder, and he had it all. He had a beautiful wife, a beautiful kid, and more than anything, he had me as his mentor. So.
Were the only one that he adopted like that?
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you yes or no, but when I became a cop, he was the one that told me about my father being murdered. He knew that we were from the projects, and and he knew that I was a thief and just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I really didn't have any rules. I had brothers and sisters that kind of flew the coop early.
How many of you?
I'm the fourth. I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
My two oldest, they're a lot older than me by double digits. My brother, the one that's just above me, is older than me by 3 or 4 years. But they all left, like everybody, and I ended up staying home with my mom, and my mom was an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And so there was really no rules. She cleaned herself up several times. But, when you go back, you're worse.
It's tough, man. Yeah. What a tough life.
Yeah. But
how was your father killed?
My father was murdered by the mob.
I figured you were going to say something like that.
Yeah. He got into the loan sharks. Couldn't pay. And they beat him up several times. And then the last time they beat him up, he managed to crawl into the house. We lived on Coit Street at the time. And my sister, when he walked into the house, my sister couldn't even recognize her own father. And it turns out that, my sister wanted to help him. Let's go to the hospital. And she said, no, let's just stay right here. If I don't feel well in the morning, we'll go to the hospital then. And he never woke up.
From eternal bleeding or something.
Yeah, they beat him really bad. They beat him really, really bad. They beat him to death.
Yeah, yeah.
I got all the reports. I read all the reports and everything. Back in those days, they didn't call it murder. They called it sudden death. You know what I mean? Not sudden death. Unusual death or some, it wasn't listed as a homicide or a murder.
Now your sister, I'm sure she was significantly traumatized.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What happened to the rest of the family?
We all split up. My sister got married, has one child, retired police officer now. My brother Pete, no children. He's living down south in Maryland. My brother Marty lives on top of a mountain in North Carolina. No kids, no nothing. I got 2 kids. He hasn't seen either one of them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you don't talk to Marty?
No, I do. We talk. We text or whatever. But he's a recluse. He's a great dude and all, but he just doesn't come off the mountain. He stays in his
Everybody
house.
dealing with this trauma of growing up the way you guys did.
Yeah, we all just had to go our separate ways. You know what I mean?
I get it. So listen, people don't realize that childhood trauma is fucked up.
It fucked us all up.
Oh, I'm sure.
It fucked us all up.
And you're just lucky enough to be able to escape it.
Yeah,
and make something out of yourself.
I didn't make it. Tony Graffa, my superhero.
He saw something in you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Law enforcement.
He knew you weren't a real piece of shit to the core.
Right.
You were just a confused kid, lost kid.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I did a lot of dumb shit.
Yep.
And I don't think I was ever a bad person.
Yeah. There was a couple things I did as a kid that weren't so good that I'd rather not talk about.
Yeah. But you and me both.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many bodies you got?
Listen, statute of limitations. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say about any of that.
Yeah,
but,
I see a teardrop tattoo. Is that what I said?
No, I actually had it removed. No, so no. But listen, childhood was childhood, and my greatest word about Tony is if it wasn't for Tony, I'm really not sure where I'd be right now. Along with a lot of other people. When my mother sobered up, things got really good. When she fell off the wagon, it got really bad again. My brother and my sister tried their best. They had their lives to, deal with. So I basically had to survive on my own, make my own way with the help of Tony and 1 or 2 others.
Mm-hmm. And, no grandparents around or anything?
Again, talk about childhood, right? As a kid, you always wish you had a grandfather or grandmother or something like that. Do you know when I was 23 years old or 22 years old, I overheard my mother talking on the phone with her sister about their mother, who I was told was long dead.
Oh, wow. And
she was alive and in a mental institution up there in Essex County, up in the Caldwells. She was in a mental institution, and they were all, my mother and her sister, were embarrassed by that and didn't let us know. If it wasn't for me hearing her talk on the phone, I would have never known she was alive.
Wow. So what happened then? Did you go visit her?
Frickin' A right, I did.
What was that like?
She was nonverbal.
Oh, okay.
My mother had said to me that when you go see her, take a good look at her legs. She's got beautiful legs. I'm thinking, what? What?
Yeah.
And sure than shit, I went up there and she was sitting outside of her room in a chair, nonverbal, just with her hands like this. Old, very old.
Yeah.
But she had that, medical gown on, and she did have beautiful legs. No varicose veins or nothing like that,
She probably was known for that. That's why I'm guessing, the little psychology, I know that was your mother's fondest memory of her.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
that's
difficult to grow up with her
Dennis,
as well.
That's a good way. You're probably right. But I'm glad I went up to see her because about 2.5 months later, she died.
No other grandparents, though?
No. I got really no memory, of any of that.
Yeah.
That's why when I heard it, I was so mad at my mother. I was so upset with her, But, in the end, my mother died my best friend, but that's a whole nother portion.
Well, you did a lot of forgiving. That's for sure.
Of course. Listen, you have to forgive. You have to. No matter who you are as a human being, forgiveness is such a release, But
hard to do sometimes, though.
Listen, it is. But, I think like anything now, especially now that I'm older, it doesn't pay to have hate, and it doesn't pay to have drama, and it doesn't pay to worry about other people's issues and issues that they create for you. Just, what? Fuck you, and let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
So now I become a cop, and Tony's dead, and I was
how was he killed? Tony
was killed by a guy by the name of Teddy Rose. Teddy Rose was an Irvington guy, never been arrested before. Was the doorman at a nightclub called Motions, which was in Irvington on Springfield Avenue. It was a disco back in those days. And Teddy Rose, we would drive him home sometimes when it rained. We knew his mother. He lived on 40th Street. And, he wasn't the best of kids, but he wasn't the worst of kids either. Well, Tony gets a phone call, a dispatch call from dispatch, and says there's a burglary going on at the pizzeria on Springfield Avenue and 40th Street. He goes up there, he assesses it. All glass front, looks good. Dispatch says they might be going in through the rear. He goes around the back. There's an alleyway / driveway. And who's coming out of the alleyway but this guy, Teddy Rose? Well, to make a long story short, Tony and Teddy knew one another and knew each other by first name.
Wow.
And Tony says to Ted, hey, by the way, I see you carry that backpack all the time. There's no burglary, by the way. There's no signs of a burglary. And they knew each other by name. Like I said, hey, Tony, hey, Ted. And they have a conversation. And Tony says, hey, by the way, what are you carrying in that backpack? And in the backpack was a sawed-off shotgun. And Teddy Rose brought it up to his belly button and fucking blew his fucking guts out and blew him into the fucking street. He was afraid to go to jail, And knowing Tony being so sharp and so good, you'd be like, yeah, you're under arrest for a shotgun. Like, what's the big deal? We know each other, but Teddy Rose decided to, the coward fucking scumbag piece of dog shit that he is, pulled the trigger and blew Tony into the street. And he laid in the fucking gutter by himself, literally holding his guts and his intestines.
It's terrible.
Horrible.
Who found him?
Well, he managed to call off and, it was gurgling on the radio and they all got there. And,
died on scene.
They kept him alive a little while. He managed to die at the University Hospital. But
what happened to Teddy Rose?
He ran down the street. He lived on 40th Street. Went and seen Mommy, stole Mommy's car, drove down to Atlantic County to see his grandmother. And when he got to his grandmother's house, he said, listen, I shot a cop down there. The state police, she ended up calling the state police and they locked him up down there.
Real life?
He got sentenced to death, Dennis.
Yeah.
And they overturned the death penalty. He got 30 years. This was 1984. You do the math.
So he's out.
We've managed, not we, his daughter, Nicole, has managed to gone. We've all gone to it, but we're not allowed to talk at the parole board. Only his family could talk. So we've kept him in now. I think this was our third parole hearing. And he gets another one, I believe, in July of next year or the year after. But he's been in there like 36 or 37 years. He's only 59 years old.
Yeah.
He's
got a good shot getting out.
Oh, he's going to get out.
Yeah.
He's going to get out. I just pray every day that he doesn't. But, of course, the way the fucking society is going and all this liberalism and nobody stays in jail anymore. I'm sure,
What's his, do you guys get some insight on him now?
Listen, the sad part about it is I was friendly with Teddy Rose,
Do you guys get to see him when he comes out for the parole hearing? Is he there?
No.
What do they give you updates on him? Is he a moral cat? Is he or is a bad?
He's had a few incidents in the prison system, so that I think has been keeping him in too. But he's going to be out. The fucking scumbag will be out. He'll be out. He'll be walking amongst all of us, And Tony's not walking anywhere. Mm-hmm. He's walking at my side. He's right here, right now, and he's with his family, spiritually. But Teddy Rose is going to be walking these streets. And, we as cops are going to have to deal with that fucking scumbag somewhere down the road. Somewhere down the road, we're going to encounter him again, But, so Tony dies, and I'm a young cop. I'm on the job 6 years, and, he was my mentor. He looked over me. Anytime I did anything, he was always there. If I needed some advice about this, that, or the other thing, he was the guy I went to. And I don't have him anymore.
What year was that?
It was 1984.
Mm-hmm. Nobody tell you how old I was in 1984?
Were you born yet?
Yeah, I was born.
Okay.
I wasn't too far off. I was an 80s baby, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you should have been around the 80s when you were 21 or 22.
Yeah, that was the best time, right?
Oh, my God. It was awesome.
Wild.
It was...
This is the best decade.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids right now and a wife, so I got to be careful what I say.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. How old are your kids?
My daughter's 26. She'll be 26 this month. My son will be 23 this month. And I'm going to tell the world my son's going to be a cop. He's graduating. He says, Dad, I want to be a cop. No problem.
Yeah. So where's he going to be a cop?
Hopefully the sheriff's department.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going where I don't want to jinx
anything. I get it. I get it.
But
no worries.
It's I'm very proud of that moment when he came to me. I said, but just make sure you go tell your mother.
Oh, shit. What made him want to be a
up.
cop? Is it you?
I think so. He went to like 7 youth academies.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was in his blood. And then they actually called him back to like talk a little bit to the younger
Oh, that's
kid.
cool.
Yeah. So
I'm going to say this too, just so you know, my kids are now saying it. Like, okay, my son asked me this today. I said, I got to go to Boston today. I'll see you tomorrow night. I'll be home. He goes, you got to teach cops up in Boston? He's 8. I go, yeah. He goes, you teach them how to punch bad guys in the face? I said, yeah, something like that. I said, if cops may have to do that if they're fighting the bad guys. That happens sometimes. That was it.
Yeah,
these kids, they got the sirens on their bikes already. They wear the shirts, street cop shirts at the school.
Right.
I will support whatever they want to do. That's all I can do.
Listen, whatever you want to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I would never tell you no, Dad. Because he came to me like, Dad, what do you think? I go, what do I think? I said, well, you do whatever you want. I said, I'm not going to tell you yay or nay. I'm happy that you're making a decision about doing something. With some of these kids today can't freaking put one foot in front of the other, never mind figure out what they want to do.
Now, you're around a long time. I tell people this all the time. So I'll give you an example of a story, but maybe I don't have to. But people say to me, oh, these millennials this, oh, these millennials that. And I tell people, I got on the job 21 years ago. They were lazy fucks then, too. I don't know. Were they lazy fucks when you got on the job?
Absolutely.
So I don't know why people think that these millennials are these lazy fucks. As a matter of fact, I think they're a great generation. Almost everybody who works at this office is a millennial, and they are on it, purpose-driven, right? Purpose-driven. Give them a purpose.
Absolutely.
Here's my story. I'm in a class in North Jersey, very supervisor-heavy. So 91 people in the class, but it's a case law class, and it's very, very supervisor. I mean, I'm seeing all sorts of insignias on all sorts of things, and I don't know why, but the common theme to all these case law classes are they come in very angry. They leave very happy, but they come in I don't know what the chip on the shoulder is. I don't feed into it too much. So one guy raised his hand. He goes, how do I get these millennials to listen to me? I go, well, here's your advice. Stop talking to them like they're pieces of shit. If you treat them with some respect and stop acting like a fucking asshole all the time, you'd be surprised.
Oh, my God, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I said, the days of people standing at attention, listening to you bark orders in their face, they're going to ask why. And guess who tells them to ask why? You're talking to the guy. Because we have to evolve in this profession to evolve in this profession. The less we evolve, the more people die.
Right.
Whether it's cops or people in public. So
1,000%.
all you got to do is say, you know what? It isn't what it was like 20 years ago, and that's fine. But you could just be nice, have some compassion, and have some respect. Watch how that works for you. Let me know. Get back to me in a year. Let me know how that works for you. That's it.
Listen, it goes back to something that we all knew as young police officers or young leaders. Treat people with respect.
Oh, yeah.
Look them in the eye. And like I said earlier, let's try listening.
Yeah.
Let's try listening.
Yeah.
And the more you listen and the more you pat somebody on the back, that's what you're going to get out of them.
Oh, the best. Yeah.
Listen, if you talk down to somebody, if you're legitimately angry at whatever you're angry about, and spew out what you want to spew out and say, listen, I'm sorry I'm acting this way, or sorry I'm yelling at you, but we can't have this happen again. And I appreciate maybe, use some words, use a phrase, use your inflection of your voice to say, listen, I screwed up, but maybe next time, guys, let's try doing it this way. As soon as you stop listening, or as soon as you think you're more powerful than somebody, as soon as you start to look down at them, as soon as you start to talk down at them, these millennials, which we all were at one point, are going to shut down. They're going to they're not going to listen to you.
How about now? These fuckers ain't scared either. They'll vote in no confidence in a second.
I mean,
they'll file lawsuits on you. This ain't the days.
I teach at a lot of police academies throughout the state and in other states, and I could tell you this. There are some kids that just don't care. They're just there for whatever they're there for. But I'll say to you, probably 95% try their best and are there for a reason.
Yeah.
And I always ask every single class of these millennials, as they say, raise your hand if you don't want to be here. And no hands go up.
Right.
You
think they just think it's a trick question?
Yeah, right.
They're going to get murdered by their drill instructors.
Right. Listen, you get, and again, I'm not asking, kindness for weakness, but sometimes in this law enforcement career as bosses and as leaders, I'll say this again for the 100th time. Listen, know what that person's going through, that police officer is going through. Right. And as soon as you could listen and understand the fear that he may have had or the decisions that he made that might be good, bad, or indifferent, we're not all the same. We all have issues. We all got problems, Maybe you should look into why. This guy did what he did. because he was really aggressive and he wanted to catch the bad guy, and maybe he made a mistake, maybe he broke a rule or something, listen to it and understand it. And like you say, compassion and kindness go a long way.
Sure.
And again, don't take kindness for weakness, because if we talk about it now and you do it 2 or 3 more times, guess what?
You get punched in the throat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Punch in the throat.
Right. And that's the same thing that I did in law enforcement,
like
Fool me once, fool me twice. I'm going to kick your fucking ass and drag your ass somewhere, you know?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think that I've lived my life as a very forgiving person. I have really, as somebody who's sincerely apologetic for something, I'm like, yes, we're good.
Yeah. And
We may not be friends, but I forgive you.
Right. But you can't drag that into your life. It'll bring you down. When you start holding all of that, it brings you down. It brings you down.
You got to enjoy the things that are great in life.
Listen, the police work was the greatest job in life for me. I fucking love being a cop. Everything about it I loved.
Yeah,
I went to work, right. I went to work every single day.
Happy.
Listen, I couldn't wait to get to work. I've just, and guys that I worked with are like, oh, please, not today.
Same
not
thing.
today. What are you going to do?
My wife used to say to me, I never saw somebody who was so excited to be getting to work.
Right.
Every day. Right. Every time you go to work, you're pumped.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's 81 degrees out. Right. It's a Wednesday, which means it's playtime.
Right.
Right? Like, it's not a Saturday at 81, then you're fucked.
Right.
Or a Friday or a third. It's a Wednesday, it's 81. It's the first 81-degree day. I know we got a fat squad. We're going to have 18 guys in the car. We're going to be good.
That's the other thing, too. You walk into the headquarters and you go to roll call and you look around the room going, oh, there's some good cops in this room. We're going to have fun.
We got a lot of personnel.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to
be a good day. Yeah. I hope, we have something good going on today.
Yeah. All of that, we can go into that forever.
It's interesting how the law of attraction and the forces come together. And here we are finding a lot about each other that's pretty similar.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Very similar. So Tony died and I was lost for a while.
Yeah.
But in Tony's death, like all the things he taught me when he was alive as a cop, in his death, I started to look at his death. When Teddy Rose pulled that trigger and blew him away, and to hear some of the things that were said that night about his death and all, and, I said, that was the first time as a young police officer, and these young guys today, they don't think it's going to happen to them. Mm. They truly go to work every day thinking, oh, I'm a cop and I'm going to get my pension. That whole mental, that guys think about. They don't realize that, and this is what I teach and lecture all the time. What we do as cops, which no other profession other than maybe the military, is we leave our cocoons every day and we drive to a place where we can die. Mm-hmm. And that's my line. I let these kids know. Like, you signed up for the circus. You all said you want to be here. You're going to leave your homes. You're going to leave your pillows. You're going to leave your family. You're going to get in your car and you're going to drive to a place where you can die. But yet you don't mentally prepare yourself. You just think it's somebody else. It's going to be the next town over. It's going to be the next city over. It's going to be out in Texas or Arizona or Kansas or wherever, How about this? You leave your home. You're going to the same place, whether it's Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Jersey, you can die. And most young kids, even veterans now, you do it, you teach, that's what you guys do. You lecture about safety and all of these survival things. They leave their homes and they drive to a place where they can die. And what do? They get in their car. Some people have a 5-minute ride to work. Some people have a 50-minute ride to work. And what do? They're rushing to get to the donuts. They're rushing to get to the diner where the pretty girl is or that good-looking guy is. They don't think or prepare mentally at all. They just think it's going to be something else. They just fall into that routine. They leave their cocoons. And the next thing you know, they're in roll call and like, all right, what's going on today? Oh, so maybe you work in a small town. Nothing's going on. So think it's not going to happen. Please, dear Lord, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, you guys do it all the time.
I tell this in class. I say 2 things that sparked in my mind while we're sitting here. The first one I say is, I can't bring back the men and women who have lost their lives in the line of duty. But if I could, and I could sit them here all with you, and we could spend a few days listening to what they would tell you, you would learn a lot. And it's probably a lot of things you don't realize that you're doing.
Right.
I said, 2, if you want to do yourself a favor, and I don't play this in class. I can't watch it. I can't stomach it. It's to go home and watch 2 or 3 hours of cops getting killed in the line of duty videos. Not because I'm trying to make you get upset, because I want you to see what the potential of you losing your life is. When you can see it and it's tangible to you, that could be you, because you've done shit like that before, because you could have been that person there. You probably treat this job a little differently. And that's up to you. It's not this class. This class isn't, I'm giving you tactics on how not to die on some simple changes that you can do. That's your homework to do. I don't find great pleasure in having to say that, but I can't do anything about that.
Right.
What I can do is something about you.
Right.
And this is what I'm passing on to you. And unfortunately, there are certain circumstances where the cop had no chance, but there's a lot of circumstances where things could have been different had there been some training in place, some thought in place.
Absolutely.
And I don't say that on the, I mean, people literally, I run the biggest police training company in the country. This is my life. This is who I live for this. You know, this is what I believe is my calling.
Right.
So I say that understanding that everybody has lost people. I'm not saying that very lightly. I mean that I'm very empathetic to that. I've been to dozens of police funerals. You know,
I have a hard time going to them. I go, but man, I got a hard time. Dennis, I literally cannot go to a wake, a viewing. I cannot see a dead. To this day, I cannot look into a casket, a dead cop in a box.
Well,
I can't
a whole
do
different story, Ken.
Yeah, but But this is the passion I could hear in your voice, and this is definitely for everybody that listens to your podcast or you and all your training. I mean, I've taught thousands and thousands and thousands of cops with my lecture, and I that passion, I can't not lecture. I can't not teach. I can't, because of that calling. Like I literally can't see another Tony Graffa die. I can't. And unfortunately it's happening all the time, and I get sick to my stomach. I get so upset sometimes that I want to choke some guys. Like, you know, there's certain things you could have done, you know, and maybe not, like you say, at that very moment when it's going to happen. It's just, but have a mindset. Have a mindset going into it. And that's why, Dennis, that's why I say when you leave your house, just understand where you're going. Like literally open up your mind for a few seconds. Don't get so complacent that it's going to happen to the next person, or it's going to happen in the next town or the next state. God damn it, could happen right here, right fucking now. But yet you're so busy, and we all have issues. You know, we talked earlier about family life and about, bills and things like that. Sure, we all have that. Maybe take a few minutes on your ride to work and clear your head and say, I'm going to live today for whatever reason. You pick the reason, and that's what Tony's death taught me. 6 years, I'm a young kid. At that point, I was like 23 years old, 24 years old, and Tony's dead, and I was lost. And Tony's death said to me, if Tony could die, that means I could die. I don't want to fucking die. I don't want to die. I don't think anybody in this room wants to die.
No.
You want to do your thing. You want to literally leap into this job because that's what our passion is. That's what we want. I was 6 years old. I knew I wanted to be a cop at 6.
Yeah.
And the bottom line boiled down to was the guy that got me there, my superhero, is fucking dead. He's fucking dead. He's a new husband. He's got a brand new baby, Nicole. And, baby Nicole's 2 years old. And if somebody like him can die, had everything in the world to live for, had everything, had the ability to pat me on the back and say, I could be somebody, and the next thing you know, I am somebody. I'm a fucking cop. And he made me that cop. Yeah. And now he's dead. And I still, even today, it just sickens me to even say it. Yeah. And now. He got cheated. Yeah. Listen, not only did forget about me so much.
He got cheated.
He got cheated. His wife got cheated. Nicole got cheated. Every citizen in this state got cheated. You know what I mean? Because he was a loving, beautiful, kind, awesome sweetheart of a human being that didn't look at race or color or religion. He wanted everyone to have police protection. He wanted everyone to be safe. He wanted everyone to know that he was there, And now he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Now he's dead. And I'm telling you, his death taught me how to live. His death taught me how to be tactically sound, somewhat physically fit, and understand that everybody needs the police. Everybody. I don't care who you are. And he taught me that. And he taught me how to live. His death taught me how to live. And I came up with this plan. It took me 10 years to come up with this plan, but this is what I lecture about this plan. And the plan is simple as this, okay? I don't want to die today. I get in my car. I clear my head of all my problems. And I say to myself, I don't want to die today. Then I would say, you know what? I'm not going to let them kill me. And them are the engineered killers, the people that just don't like the police and they want to hurt us all the time. Okay? I'm not going to let them get to me. Okay? I'm not dying on a... And then all of a sudden, what if came into my plan? Again, this all took 10 years. What if? What if the boogeyman does get me? What if the boogeyman gets you? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Are you going to cave into it? Or are you going to go through all the training that you guys have taught and all of the things that you should go through, because, cops don't want to take the time to go to training. If you got something good, like your product is awesome, people should sign up for it. Cops should understand what it is, go there and get a mental state of mind as to what to do and how to do it. So I'm not dying. They're not killing me. What if the boogeyman gets me? And this is what hit me. This was the whatever the word would be, epiphany, whatever. What was Tony or any cop, any fucking cop that the boogeyman gets, and as they lay on the ground, knowing they're taking their last breath, they know they're dying. What are they thinking about right at that moment? What are they thinking? That, you're taking your last breath. You know exactly what it is. You know exactly where you're going. What are you thinking about right at that moment? And it dawned on me what Tony was thinking about. And this is what I lecture about. This is what I teach in my 3-hour stuff, is Tony was thinking about the most important people in his life. And we were talking about it earlier. He was thinking about his beautiful wife and his beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
So he laid in the gutter knowing he was going to die. And they were the two people he was thinking about. And that's what I do. I make that a part of my lecture, a part of my plan to live. Have that mindset. I'm not dying. They're not killing me. What if? If the boogeyman gets me, I'm going to think about the most important people in my life. And for me, right at that moment, okay, I'm on the job 16 years, okay? When my incident took place, 10 years of planning, 10 years, Tony's death, and every comp from Tony's death till my 16th year. I thought about each case as much as I could, get as much information I could, and listen and understand what took place during each one of these cops dying. And I realized every one of them had to be thinking the same thing. They had to be thinking of the most important people in their life. And it doesn't have to be a husband, a wife, kids. It could be your dog, your cat, your grandparents, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Everybody's got something. I'm on the job 16 years and my day comes. The boogeyman gets me. I was 43 days away from getting married, Dennis. You know what I wanted more than anything? I wanted to be a husband, and I wanted to be a father. And on this particular Monday, it was the day after our wedding shower. I go to work Monday morning. They had taken me out of plain clothes and they put me in uniform because I took that sergeant's test and they told me I was going to be a sergeant, And and it turns out that I get in my car. I'm in uniform, which is really what I love the best, being in uniform, strapping on a gun. And
me and you are so much alike.
Oh, listen, I literally got into my car thinking about, wow, it was a great weekend. I'm going to get married pretty soon. I own a home. I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna get promoted.
Get promoted, yeah, it's a big deal.
Everything's going great. I got everything going. I got it going. Everything's awesome. And I clear my head, and I got like at the time even now I live in Basking Ridge, New Jersey.
Oof.
Yeah, and thank you. And Irvington's, right down 78. It's like an 18-minute drive, and of course, it only takes me 10 or 12 minutes because I drive like a fucking cop anyway. I tell you, I get pulled over all the time because I drive like an asshole. But thank God for the brothers and sisters.
Oh, Jersey's a great state.
Listen, every one of you guys that pull me over, thank you. I love you all. Listen, I'm telling you, I do drive like a jerk. But so I get in my car and I just clear my head, man. And I say to myself, you know what? I'm going to live today. And I'm going to live today for these reasons. I'm going to live today because I want to be a husband. I want to live today because I want to be a father. And I'm going to live today because, God forbid, the boogeyman gets me today. I'm going to picture my wife in her beautiful wedding dress walking down the aisle. And I think about it for a little while. Like just as I'm driving, I'm riding down 78, and it's like 6 a.m. on a Monday, and there's some snow on the ground. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a husband and a father.
What year is this now?
This is 1994.
Yeah.
And I do one of these like, yeah, man, it's going to be a great day today. It's going to be a great day. And I get into police headquarters, and of course I do what we all do, all good cops should do, is look around the room, like I said earlier, and see who the fuck's in the room. There's a lot of great dudes in the room, a lot of guys I went to, one guy that went to the academy with, and a bunch of other good street cops in the room. And at the time, felony vehicles were everywhere. The shit's all over. There's shit everywhere. There's drugs, guns. I've locked up thousands of people with guns drugs like you wouldn't believe. Oh, I could sit here all day long and, I'm cop 100% all the time. I get in that police car, I put that badge on. There is no stopping me. Some of my partners, just Hogue, please, not today. Can't you just, dispatch is like, Hogue, how many plates you going to run? Hogue, how many, and I'm not a ticket guy. I don't write fucking tickets. It gets me to Title 39, will get me to the car. Then I'm all in. But, so I try to get guys motivated that morning and, it seemed to work. I get in my marked car, and the first thing I do is I go to the diner. Which
you guys are driving Caprices?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had
I remember the video I watched. I think it was a Caprice.
Yeah. I get in the car, and again, Tony teaching me, and I know you teach some of this stuff. It's all about the equipment you have. Do you really know? Guys don't. They take all that shit for granted. The shit that's on their belt, they take for granted. The shit that's in the car, they take for granted. They just. It's just. Some guys use Dodge Chargers today, and tomorrow they're using a Chevy Caprice, or they're using the Ford Explorer, or they're, whatever, and they just think it's just another piece of equipment when it's not. It's just,
You're unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, it's because they don't take the time to
learn it.
They don't take the time. They just think, and I preach when I do my lectures. Please understand the equipment that you have, and the equipment just isn't the police car and what's on your belt. The equipment's what's in your heart, which we just talked about, what's in your brain, the knowledge that you have, to do your job well, to do it well. And I believe I got most of that. I'm a street cop, physically fit, tactically sound, thousands of arrests. I could use my mouth as far as speaking to people. I got to be careful how I said that.
Yeah.
I speaking to people and listening to people. And I feel, listen, I'm a very confident, call it cocky, call it what you want, but when I go to work, I go to work. And, I just remember leaving headquarters and going to the diner, understanding what equipment I have, get to the diner, have to have my cup of tea. I'm not a coffee drinker by no stretch of the imagination. But I get my cup of tea and I just clear my head and say, I'm going to catch me some bad guys today. And that's what I did every day. When I got in that police car, I had my cup of tea, cleared my head, and I'm going for bad guys. No one's getting in my way. And, ask any of my partners, ask any of my bosses, oh, please stop. You're fucking making everybody crazy.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And on this particular Monday, I finish up my coffee. I drive up to the neighborhood. They all know me up there. They all know who I am. Most of them respect me. I could literally pull in, I could pull up to a corner and say, listen, guys, got to go. And they'd be like, Hogue, we got it, mate. We got it, Hogue. And they would leave. No questions asked, because if I say move, I mean move. You get off the corner, you get off the corner. If I come back and you're here, I don't care. I'll lock you up for whatever, stupid shit, disorderly persons.
Give you a fair shot. I'm from the city. You're from the city.
Listen,
you know me. I know you.
Listen, I'm a shitum too. I could be a shitum just like you, but the bottom line is I'm the police, and all I ask, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you guys to leave. That's the difference too, Guys, listen, you have to get off the corner, and I got a great reputation that way. I could literally...
People knew, right?
Everybody knew my
people
name.
coming to headquarters asking to speak to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's happened to me too.
Yeah. Because they knew they could trust me. They all, So I go up to 19th Avenue and 21st Street. Irvington, that whole neighborhood. I walked the beat there back in the day. I know what cars belong to what houses. I know what kids belong to what grandparents, some parents. And on this particular morning, because it was cold, a little bit cold, and snow on the ground, there was nobody. It's like 9 o'clock Monday morning. There's nobody around. Kind of bizarre. I drive down 21st Street. I get to 19th Avenue, and it's all residential there. No schools, no bodegas, no nothing. And I just look up and down 19th Avenue, and I probably sit there for a good 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then suddenly I look to my right, and I don't know where this mutt came from. It came out of a manhole cover. I don't know where he came from, but all of a sudden he's there. He's got the hoodie on. He's got this very bizarre walk, and of course, as cops, what do? We look at hands first, and then we read the body language. We go through all of that. We mentally get a picture of what could be going on or what should happen or what could happen. And I'm watching him, and it took him a little while because he was taking these little baby steps, and I still can't see his face. And everybody looks at the police. Everybody glances up. When they see a police car, everybody looks up. And you know why? Because they're looking to see if we're looking at them. That's really the bottom line,
Body language.
Yeah, body language.
Reaction to presence, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, all of those things. Listen, you're a cop. You're a street cop. You know exactly what it's all about. And he's not looking at me or the police car. He's got his head down, the hoodie's down. I can't see his face. And he's getting closer to my car. My senses are all going, something's up. I see his hands, I'm trying to read his body language more, and I just can't. And as he gets closer to my car, I'm thinking he's not looking at me. Let me just try a trick or two. So I rev the engine, thinking maybe he'll look up. He doesn't flinch. He gets a little bit closer to the car, and as he gets towards the crosswalk, I actually take my police car and I pull up and block his path, and he's about 2 steps away from the front fender, front bumper, and he just stops dead with his head still down. I can't see his face, and I'm trying to do one of these, look to see where he's at, see where his face is at, and, instead of him walking around in front of the police car, he walks around the back. And I have to take my eyes off him, and I do one of these because I got to swing around, thinking he's going to come around the back of the car and then continue through the crosswalk or continue down 19th Avenue. But he doesn't do that. When I look over my left shoulder, I see him, and he's going towards this house on 21st Street. I don't know where these 2 guys, they weren't there a minute ago, but there's 2 guys on a porch. It's a drug crack house. And now I realize he's Jones's for his dope. That's what he's doing. I've been in this house. I know the 2 guys on the porch. Okay, I'm thinking, all right, that's where he's going. So I make a left-hand turn on 19th Avenue. I get out of sight. I turn the car around. I do a K-turn. When I come back around, it only took me a few seconds. When I come back around, this mutt who was taking baby steps, a minute ago, the 2 guys on the porch, I'm talking maybe 8-10 seconds. The guy, 2 guys on the porch are gone, and this mutt made it almost to the middle of the block. Oh, that fast. So when I turn, I realize his back is to me. I'm like, don't rev the car. Don't rush down. I don't need a foot chase right now. Let me get closer to him. That whole thing, how to tactically roll up on him and all, yada, yada. So with that, he makes a left down standard. And I get on the radio, all the things that you were taught, all the things, I'm going to do a pedestrian stop at this point. As I'm going down, I said, headquarters, I'll be checking 1 at 21st and Nelson, standard. When I make the left-hand turn, this mutt made it to the dead-end street, so he moved pretty quick. This dead-end street, you're not getting away from me. There's razor wire. There's dogs. If I get you, and I've been plenty of foot chases, plenty of car chases, I got you. You're cornered. So I tactically put my car in a spot. I stick my head out the window, and his back is to me. He's about 35, 38 feet away. I stick my head out the window. I go, yo, my man, hold up a minute. And as soon as I said the word minute, he reached, literally, his hands are at his side, goes to his waistband, he spins around, pulls a 6-hour, 9mm jacket hollow points, and he just starts laying rounds. Never got out of the car. First round came through the windshield, 12 o'clock. The only reason why it didn't hit me right here is because my head was out the window.
Oh, shit.
That's the only reason. Now, I'm telling you, think about that, 35, 40 feet away.
That's a hell of a shot.
That's a hell of a shot.
These fuckers.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, what do? We go,
I know,
you know what I mean? We just, twice a year, we go, please, go, you guys, listen, please shoot your, go fucking qualify 4, 5, 6 times a year.
We just had a guy, I thought about this morning. It's funny bringing it up. We had Rich, who is our firearms instructor for the company. And we talked about, and I'm going to reiterate it here, is he spoke about going to a seminar. I asked him this question, where these guys who were these contractors in the Middle East said, when they first got in their gun battles, they started getting nuts and they were wild and they're just firing rounds. And he goes, then we started to calm down, breathe and aim. So I'm going to pass that on to everybody, is if you're going to get in a battle, I'm just going to remind you again, you've heard me say it 150 times, take a moment to aim and you'll probably win. Yeah.
Well, this guy spun around, first round came through the windshield at 12 o'clock. My head was out the window. The round goes past me. I literally say those famous words, oh, shit. And I go down. My face goes through the dust. As my face goes through the dust, I hear pop, pop, not rapid fire, just like almost like every step or two, he's just letting out a round. But the rounds are getting louder.
He's getting closer.
Yeah, I know exactly what that means. So I realized, as I go down to the front seat, I literally just say to myself, all right, my face again, I'm scared, the fear, all of these things. But I'm realizing, listen, man, I know this scenario in my head. I practice it in my head. I've mentally pictured this happening to me. And as my face goes through the dust, I get to this front seat. I go down to the front seat and I'm like, all right, where was he? As the pop in there, like I said, it's not rapid fire. Where was he? He was in front of my police car, more to the driver's side. Okay. I know what I'm going to do. I get down to the floor. I'm thinking he's going to, if he's closer to the driver's side, he's coming to the driver's side. That's what, and the pops keep coming and they're getting louder and louder and louder. And I'm like, all right, get down to the floor, reach up for the door handle. And this is the other thing I said earlier about knowing your equipment. Maybe you just got out of your personal vehicle and your door handle's somewhere else, but now you're driving a police car. Did you take the time when you left roll call, you left the building to sit in your car and do muscle memory and understand the inside of your police car? Like I said, yesterday you had a Ford Explorer. Today they're giving you a Tahoe. The radios are in different spots.
Shit hits the fan. You're not going to know where to grab.
Right. That's why I'm saying that's why. Sit in your car, take a few minutes, reach for things, get muscle memory going. It only takes a few minutes. Doesn't take long. Listen, this is what I did. Since Tony's death, since my superhero died, Nobody's getting to me. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting to me. When I hit the floor, thinking, all right, it's going to come to the driver's side. I reach up. I don't have to look up. I reach up for the door handle. I know what I'm going to do. When that door opens, I'm going to snake my body along the floor. I'm going to go down to the rocker panel. I'm going to get to the ground. I'm going to be like a snake. He's coming to the front, so I'm going to the back. When I get to the trunk of the car, I'm going to come up. I'm going to engage I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. The rounds kept coming. But anyway, I'm down to the floor. I reach up for the door handle, the passenger side. I picked the wrong door. He came to the passenger side.
Oh, wow.
And he shot this finger right off.
Oh, shit.
Shot it off. And as he shoots it off, I realize,
That's your trigger finger, right?
Yeah, it's my trigger finger. I'm right-handed.
You carry a backup pistol?
I did.
Where was that?
On my ankle.
You think it was a good place to keep it?
I wasn't sure where, that was what was taught to me years ago. Like, always have a second gun, keep it on your ankle.
I used to carry a second gun, too. You know what we had was nice? 511. I'm not giving it an endorsement because I'm paid. They make a shirt, but there's a pocket. There's a Velcro go down the front lining. So I used to keep a 38 special in here as a backup gun. So I figured my right hand, I could reach with my left, I had to reach in. Right. But my right hand, if this thing malfunction, I go right to this. And I have 5 shots. And I said to people, I used to tell people, if I got to shoot this thing, this is my last, it's called as a last ditch effort here.
Exactly.
That's it.
So when I reach up for the door handle, he shoots the finger off, and I squirmed a little bit, and he see me squirm, and he leans into the car, and he puts the next round right into my shoulder.
Jesus Christ.
At point blank range.
Shooting straight down.
Straight down. And it goes through my bulletproof vest and into my shoulder.
Was it an unprotected area? Is that what it was?
No, it was pretty good. It was
just too close because
there's a few other things that we'll get to it towards the end. But goes through, and I realize now I'm in big trouble. He leans in again, and the center of my spine, he actually leans in and puts one. It goes through my bulletproof vest and right into my spine.
Holy shit!
I squirm a little bit more, and then you probably noticed it, but he leans in again.
Puts one on the top of your head.
And he puts one right through my skull and into my brain. And it was lights out. It was done. It was over.
That's it.
The boogeyman got me, and it's dark.
You even have time to think of that now?
No. It was done. I was at peace. It was, there was no pain. You hear guys saying there is no pain. The adrenaline, whatever it is. But I knew it was death. I knew it was over with, And I started talking to Tony. I asked to see my father. Dad, we're in heaven now. Like, let's talk, Dad. Let's, all of these things. And then,
were you seeing things too?
No, I can't say that I was.
Just remember.
I just remember come on, Dad, let's have that conversation, I would say, Tony, your daughter's beautiful. Your daughter's beautiful,
awesome.
And I kept saying, your daughter's going to be fine. We're all looking out for her and stuff. And then I realized, I'm like, no. I gotta walk my wife down the aisle. I gotta
got business to take care of.
Yeah, I gotta walk my, then I start picturing now. I see, my beautiful bride, in white walking down the aisle. And I'm like, no, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And I start saying to myself, no, Kenny, sit up. And I sit up.
Oh shit.
I'm blind. I'm deaf. The right side of my body's paralyzed. But I sit up. And as I sit up, I start to say to myself, no, why'd you sit up, Kenny? Where's the boogeyman? Where is he? Where is he? He's going to come back and finish me off. Why'd you sit up? And I'm realizing my eyes are open. I can feel my eyes blinking, but I can't see anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, why can't I move my right arm?
Were you able to move your left arm?
Yeah, thank God. Because now that I sit up, I say, Kenny, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. Start the car, Kenny. Start the car. What 2 fingers do we use to start our car?
Yeah.
But yet, did we practice this? Do we understand it? We bitch and moan about shooting at the range with our opposite hands and all of that. Come on, man. Stop fucking belly aching.
Yeah.
You leave your cocoon every day and you drive to a place where you can die, but you won't practice. You won't understand it. You won't, you think it's not going to happen to me. That I don't want to use the complacency thing, but, some guys aren't complacent, but they don't think what could really happen to them. Some are obviously complacent, but some of us that are street cops and sometimes even then we don't think of certain things.
I think about it all the time.
Right. But that's how that's
cowboy,
how guys. Right.
Cowboy,
right. Exactly. Call it what you want. Cowboy. I don't care what you call it, but it's called fucking learning to stay alive. Mm-hmm. Stay the fuck alive.
Yeah.
For all the things you want to stay alive for. That's the key. But yet sometimes we worry, we bellyache about the stupid things we worry and bellyache about. But yet we can leave our homes and drive to a place where we can die. That's the bellyache right there. Because I don't want to leave my fucking family. I don't want to leave what I have. I don't want to leave it. And I started to realize, you know what? you know, sit up. And when I sat up and I was like, all right, man. And I tactically put my car where I was supposed to. You know, some guys just, you know, they forget, you know, you're going to stop somebody. You're going to do things. You pick those spots. You know what to do. You understand, especially a pedestrian stop or a car stop. Put it in the places you're supposed to. I put my car in a spot where I can literally put a heavy left-hand turn and go back down towards the opposite end of the dead end street, or I could turn right hard and go down 21st Street. Because he was, like I said, 40 feet. I picked where I could go. I could go right or I can go left. You know, I'm not going all the way to that dead end street where now I got to back up and figure out, you know how backing up could be, you know, that whole snake shit.
Sure, yeah,
you know?
Crazy.
So I sat up and I'm like, Kenny, start the car. Kenny, start the car. Get out of here. And I realized my opposite arm is fucking done. My fingers are gone. I can't see it, but I know there's something wrong. So I reach up. I know right where, let me stop there. When I got shot, I'm like, all right, you know where the microphone is too. Cause what do we do? What do cops do? Like you say the word cowboy or whatever. Sometimes we put the microphone over the MDT. We'll put it over the mirror. We'll put it over the rifle if there's a rifle there. You can do all of those things. That's fine. Do it every day that way. Yeah. Muscle memory. So I knew right where I can't see it. I know right where it is. All I got to do is feel. I reach up for the microphone. I say, I've been shot. I don't know if anybody hears me. I don't know anything. I say it a second time. I've been shot. I don't know if anybody hears me. Most radios have that little button. You push that button, lights up on the 911 board. You know, dispatch board, car 7 needs help. Again, the button's about the size of your pinky. Mm-hmm. I reach for it. I feel it. I push it. I can't see it. But that's what we do as street cops.
Was the car on?
At this point, no. It wasn't on. I had turned it off because I'm thinking
Did you have power to the radio?
Well, that's a good question. Do people know that in their cars?
Yeah.
You know? Yes, there's power to the radio. But again, it could be, there was so many fucking shots fired. Who knows if anything's working?
Right.
You know, but I know my shit. I know my equipment. I know who I am and I know how to do it.
You guys carry a portable too?
Yes, we have portables too.
Were you wearing a portable that day?
I was wearing a portable.
Would it extend the mic or was it attached to your belt?
Just attached to my belt.
Yeah.
So I get on the radio. I say I've been shot. I say, I don't know if they can hear. I say the second time I've been shot. I'm like, I don't know if they hear me, but I know where the button is. I push the button and I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of where is he? Where I'm still blind. I'm still deaf and I'm still paralyzed on the right side. I literally fucking start the car, reach up, put the car in drive. I remember tactically where I put the car and I turn the car hard to the right. Now I got a bullet in my brain, a bullet in my spine, a bullet in my shoulder, and a bullet in my hand. And I drove that fucking police car 65 yards. And as I'm driving, I'm thinking I'm hitting parked cars, but there was all snow, you know, from the snow banks. I'm hitting snow and I'm thinking I'm hitting parked cars. But I'm saying to myself, no, Kenny, don't pass out. Don't pass out. I can feel my body going lifeless now. I know I'm dying. I know I'm bleeding out. It's over, you know, but I can't stay here. I can't let these motherfuckers see me dead in the street. That's all I kept thinking. I cannot let these fuckers see me dead in the street. And I pull up. Slow, and I feel my body going lifeless. And I just start to do this. I start to pass out. My body's going to the right, and the car goes to the right. I end up driving up a snowbank, and I lose all consciousness. I know this is it.
Did the radio work when you were calling it in?
I don't know. At that point.
You ever find out if it worked?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
So
I can't live in the suspense.
So I end up almost passing out, and I say, if you pass out, you die. That's my mentality.
I've heard that a lot.
Right. If I pass. So again, that famous word, breathe, man. Just breathe. And I say to myself, all right, Hogue, just take a breath. Just take a breath. Come on, you can do it again. Take another breath. I take a second breath and then a third breath. And suddenly I got my eyesight back.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yeah. And the first thing I do is I want to see what's going on. And my finger's gone. It's gone. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm just like, all right, man. All right,
You're going to make it.
Just sit up, man. Just sit up. You can sit up. You know, the car's dead stop now. I'm not quite sure where I'm at. But as I sit up, I literally sit back in my police car and I sit back and I sit back. My eyes are open and I look down and I'm like, did they hear me? Did they hear me? And the next thing you know, I look right through the windshield. Here comes the police.
111, 110. You training to be a street cop?